Thank you everyone for tuning in. You're watching Sports Tigers post-match show. Today's game, Chennai versus Rajasthan. It was a big challenge for the young captain Sanju Samson to go up against the legendary MS Dhoni. But the inexperience of Rajasthan just crumbling under the extremely experienced squad of MS Dhoni and Chennai winning this game by 45 runs. So it was an exciting one, but it was dominated by a lot of spin bowling, and hence I want to bring on our spin expert Monty Panesar on this show to discuss the game and Arohi as well.
Hi.
Hi Rohi, hi Monty. I think this was the tailor-made a TV show for you, Monty. It was a complete spin domination. I'm sure you must have really enjoyed it. I'm gonna talk to you about that now because yes, I really enjoyed Dhoni's captaincy there in the middle. Some very inspiring changes. When Ravindra Jadeja came out, we were talking about him. He was leaking too many runs. But Butler, when he was looking really good, Dhoni decides to bring him back again. And Jadeja, always the go-to man. He's the X factor in this Chennai squad. Always, with the in the field, with the bat, with the ball, he does the job for you. And not just Jadeja. I think now Moeen Ali is also being groomed into a similar role, whether it's with the bat, with the ball. Today, it was a complete spin show by Chennai. What do you have to say about the crucial wickets taken by Jadeja and Moeen Ali?
Yeah, that's absolutely brilliant. It's like, I think MS Dhoni is probably the best, tactician in T20 cricket. We haven't obviously seen the best of his batting, but it's his brain as a cricket captain. He's unbelievable. He knew that if there's not any due when Rajasthan Royals are chasing this, he needs spinners were in the game, and it was just brilliant to watch.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, a very important wicket of Jos Buttler that sort of set the game. I feel that set the tone for Chennai. They felt now that they had the chance because they had got the top guy out, and then Shivam Dube, who was also looking very settled, Jadeja taking his wicket as well, and then Moeen Ali comes in and takes the wicket of the more experienced player in the middle order, David Miller, and then the X factor Morris as well. And then Jadeja also goes on to take 4 catches in the field. So some brilliant performance there. But at the same time, Monty, I was discussing with Arohi in the previous segment that today Chennai is maybe missing the specialist spinner. Maybe they need to have Imran Tahir in because there's David Miller there and there's Jos Buttler there. They're not the most comfortable with a wicket-taking spin option like that of Imran Tahir. But Monty, if the part-time spinners like Jadeja and Moeen Ali can do this job, then do you really need a specialist spinner in this lineup?
Well, I think it's to do. I think conditions change dramatically if there's no dew. There was a much sort of the dew factor wasn't taken into consideration in this match. So I think on that basis, Chennai Super Kings, they just know how to chase and how to actually restrict the team, and sort of they just know how to just put pressure on the team.
Absolutely, like you said, Dhoni, great tactician, really understands the game, made some great changes there, and his players delivering. It's important that when that responsibility is given to certain players, they need to deliver, and more often than not, the more experienced players of Chennai do that. And talking about experience, I'll talk to you, Arohi, about the inexperience of Rajasthan, their batting lineup today completely collapsing. We've spoken about this. When you go up against a squad like Chennai, you have to put your A game on. And there was just too much pressure on the very young, inexperienced lineup like that of Rajasthan. And today, Samson had to step up and really lead by example, being the captain. Isn't it really frustrating, always super frustrating, to see Samson give such inconsistent performances when we know what he's capable of, we know what his talent is, but just don't get the best out of him season after season?
I think this has been the saga. It has continued for editions over editions, and I don't think we should get any more surprised. We should be surprised about the fact why it's happening also in the first place, but we shouldn't be surprised about the fact that it's happening because it's been happening so many years in a row, and nobody knows why. He starts off the season on such a beautiful note, promising such good innings in the coming future, and then all of a sudden something happens to him, and nobody understands what's happening. Probably, I think the concentration and the motivation with which he starts the season, probably he loses it, I think, over a period of time. Otherwise, I don't know. I don't have any explanation for that. And if Samson doesn't step in, who's the other man? You cannot always rely on your overseas players just because they're more experienced. You have your domestic players in the team because you expect something from them, right? But if they're not giving in that much, I don't know, something is going wrong in the coaching side of it, probably, or probably making the players understand about how to play at certain stages in a game or how to play certain balls at certain stages in a game.
Yes, very frustrating because I've been seeing Samson for so many years now. Even when he was playing in the under 19 level, he shows so much talent and promise. Even got a few chances at the international level, but just fails to deliver. And there's just no explanation to that. I don't know whether it's pressure or it's something. There's some technical fault in his approach to the game. We'll have to wait and see if he can, make the right corrections there. But very rightly said, the domestic players. We see somebody like a Manan Vora, who's actually a fairly experienced player in the IPL. He's played over 50 games, but still failing to deliver. He showed so much promise when he came from the domestic circuit, still hasn't delivered. Shivam Dubey, who showed so much promise earlier, he's even played for his national squad and actually has scored tons of runs in the domestic circuit in the T20 format, but just not stepping up his game when required. So yes, domestic players definitely being a letdown, and that can be a huge problem going forward in this tournament. But coming back to you, Monty, I often refer to Rajasthan as the English contingent. It's led by some of the best English players. The likes of Jofra Archer, Ben Stokes, Jos Buttler. So there's so many great English players in this squad and often leading this squad. And today we saw a great knock from Jos Buttler. And on the other end, we were seeing some phenomenal performances by two other Englishmen, one Moeen Ali and the other Sam Curran. When I see such incredible performances and so consistently, because they're all match winners now. If you see Jofra Archer, Ben Stokes, Jos Buttler, Sam Curran, Moeen Ali, just look at the names and look at the performances they have delivered time and again. Doesn't it make you really excited about the future of English cricket? So many impact all-round players coming out of the English contingent. How do you feel about English cricket going forward, seeing these players?
Yeah, I think it's absolutely brilliant. I think, especially with the T20 World Cup coming up, this is ideal preparation for England. I think a lot of people are saying it's just going to be India versus England. Really, all the other teams are just sort of turning up, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I think all these teams, some of their players who are playing in the IPL will be so valuable for their own international side. But I think England in particular, all the English players are actually performing really well. Apart from Ben Stokes, unfortunately, had a fractured sort of hand. But apart from that, this is great news, for English cricket and the ECB. Even Owen Morgan, is as a good day as a captain, and he's doing brilliant. So I think all the English players have done really, really well, and it's just great news for English cricket.
Yeah, and we'll get to see some other big names like David Malan. He's still waiting for his opportunity for Punjab squad. So let's see if he gets to play in the next game. And also, we'll take a look at the scorecard of today's game to better understand how great the performances were by all the Englishmen. Be it Sam Curran, be it Moeen Ali, be it Jos Buttler. And, it's sometimes amazing to see that Jofra Archer, is still not playing yet. I felt the Rajasthan bowling lineup was doing fairly well. And in fact, in my previous segment, when I was talking to Rajat Bhatia, I was talking about the young Chetan Sakaria. You see the kind of responsibility he's taken on his shoulders, Monty. And, what do you have to say about a young guy like Chetan who's playing his first tournament? He's making his debut and he goes on to take the wicket of somebody like MS Dhoni and then Suresh Raina, the second highest run getter in this tournament, and also Ambati Rayudu, who's a veteran in this tournament. What do you have to say about somebody like Chetan Sakaria?
Well, I think one thing that Rajasthan Royals and their bowling department is that they seem to bowl the best slower balls in the tournament, and the length of it's been great. And then, yeah, that first wicket that he took off MS Dhoni, he completely did him. He hit the ball for boundary. He was going to iron him up for six, and he completely did him with a slower ball there. So that's the one great thing about Rajasthan Royals is that I think their bowling, their slower balls and cutters are the best in the tournament. They get the length, the execution of length, and when is the right time to bowl it. Absolutely spot on. It's probably more of the concerning. I know we say it's the batting, but Kumara Sangakkara obviously has to turn this around, and he's a very great tactician. He speaks very well about the game. He will have to sit down and think now. How do I turn this around? I'm not, especially when you have a new coach, and Kumara's first year as in Rajasthan Royals. I'm always not a great believer of introducing a new coach without the backup support of maybe previous coaches or mentors who are quite successful. I think, if it doesn't go well, then you're kind of like on your own to work everything out. And, I just think I found it strange. Why didn't they keep Shane Warne as the mentor? He was the mentor, and he knows Rajasthan Royal really well. He's won the T20 trophy, the first with them. He was part of them last year. I don't know, for whatever reason, why isn't Shane Warne there? Because that's the whole point of having Shane Warne. This is a perfect time to have him when they have to find answers or turn around a performance. That's the whole point of having him there. When they're doing really well, yeah, they may not need his services, but you still need someone who knows the franchise really well. And he's one of them guys. Look at Mumbai Indians. They don't get rid of Sachin Tendulkar. I know he's not playing, but I'm sure at some point, if things are not going well, they'll probably call on, Sachin Tendulkar's services, as a mentor, as an advisory consultant who will then help and facilitate with Mahela Jayawardene and Zahir Khan. And I just don't see that they have got that sort of person that can right now help Kumara Sangakkara, who can just say, right, sit down with the likes of Shane Warne and say, right, guys, how do we turn this around? What do you think is the best thing? And you need someone like that, especially in his first year, as a coaching in the IPL. It's not easy. It's not an easy job.
Yes, it's definitely not an easy job. Although we have great expectations for Kumar Sangakkara, I've always loved him as a player and as a captain. I feel he's got a great cricket brain. I've seen him in the commentary box as well. He really understands the game well. But a lot of concerns for him right now. So many signs of concern for Rajasthan. Bowling not looking the strongest. It's hot and cold. But young Chetan Sakaria looking very promising. Archer still missing in this lineup. They've already lost Ben Stokes, and the side without him looks a little weak, because already it's a very, very young, inexperienced batting lineup led by a very inexperienced captain. And games are going to become really tough when you go up against the experience of squads like Chennai and Mumbai. And it's not going to get easier as the tournament progresses. So probably it's time for Sangakkara to come up with some great plans, especially for the young Sanju Samson, so that he starts delivering more consistently. Coming to you, Arohi, since we're talking about batting, everybody had been asking about Dhoni. When is he going to bat? Which number is going to come on? Because it's such a deep batting lineup. Now that we know after 3 games that the opener Rituraj Gaikwad is not doing well, isn't it time, do you think, to send Rayudu up at the top? He can open since he's been successful at that spot, and then maybe Dhoni takes Rayudu's spot, and you can put in somebody like a Krishnappa Gautam there. Do you think that could work in the lineup?
I don't know if Krishnappa Gautam should be coming in, because we have Uttappa, who's a much more experienced player than Krishnappa Gautam. But yeah, you could interchange the players in the playing 11. You can put Raidu up because, as we've seen, he's not done extremely well at the position which he comes in at. That is at 4. So probably if he comes, as you said about Maxwell, that he should go up the order and then he should settle and then he should play, and that's what he's been doing. Probably Raidu can play that part for Chennai because if we see other than Faf, I don't think anybody else, meaning Rituraj Gaikwad here, he hasn't been doing great. And I don't know, probably you can replace him. Probably you can send him in at 3 or 4 in place of Raidu. Chala to chala, nahi chala to nahi chala ke hisab se. But yeah, probably it will be a really good idea to make Raidu open the innings with Faf.
Yeah, like I said, that's my take because I feel he's been really successful at the top. And today we actually, but surprisingly today we saw a fantastic innings by Raidu. He gave a really fiery knock of 27 just of 17 balls. We're going to go through the scorecard. Chennai today scoring a 188 for 9 in their 20 overs. Rituraj Gaikwad, like I said, disappointing show. Faf with a good knock of 33. Then you see Moeen Ali again being consistent, 26. Suresh Raina going out early, 18. Ambati Raidu, a great knock, 27. Ravindra Jadeja couldn't do with the bat, but he definitely compensated with the ball and with his fielding. Rest, no big knock, 18, 13, 20, but that was a really important knock by Dwayne Bravo, 20 of just 8 balls that really turned things around for Chennai towards the end. So no big knock coming there, and yet Chennai reaching such a large total. That just shows that how, Chennai in this squad is such a balanced squad that everyone ends up contributing in some manner and can help the team propel to the kind of target that they want to reach. So that's the beauty of a balanced and a very deep batting lineup like that of Chennai. Then Rajasthan's batting. Rajasthan unfortunately missing out today, losing the game by 45 runs, could only score 143 at the loss of 9 wickets. Jos Buttler, the only batsman who looked really, really settled and was looking to get a big score. He was on 49 of just 35 balls, but Jadeja comes in and spoils the party for Rajasthan tonight. Manan Vora again being very inconsistent today, just 14 runs. Sanju Samson, the big prize wicket today, couldn't get going, got out at 1. Shivam Dubey, again very disappointing, just 17 runs. David Miller, Moeen Ali, too good for him, just 2 runs. Then 3, 20, 0, 24, 0 and 0. So nothing really working for Rajasthan today after Jos Buttler. But like I said earlier, it was a complete spin domination. If you see Moeen Ali, 3 overs, 7 runs only with 3 wickets. Those are some unbelievable numbers for a format like that of T20. And then looking at the other spinner, Ravindra Jadeja, 4 overs, 28 runs and 2 wickets. The other promising Englishman today after Jos Buttler, it was Sam Curran with his 4 overs, 24 runs and 2 wickets. So yes, like I said, complete spin domination. And hopefully now we see the winning ways of Chennai, the old legendary Chennai that we are big fans of, can start dominating this tournament once again, and probably we'll see them go up in the top 4. They missed out last season, had a poor outing, but seems like they've definitely made the right corrections this season by picking up the right players in the auction and setting the lineup right. Yeah,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
One more point here, just by adding 2 players, Chennai has gone from what a mess they were in the last season, to what they have been looking so far in this season. Imagine all the teams were struggling so far this season. Punjab, Rajasthan, just 2 changes is all you need to get thing to everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And there cannot be any Chennai squad without Suresh Raina. I feel Suresh Raina does form an important part of this squad, and especially in the middle order. And then, of course, there is Jadeja, the X factor. So when you have the right players there, and now Moeen Ali blending in perfectly in his new role, and with Sam Curran down the order, I think this Chennai squad is looking like a really dominating one. And I don't think they're going to miss out on the playoffs this season like they did last year. And definitely giving a great gift today to Dhoni, who was playing his 200th game as a captain. Monty, I'm going to come to you with your final thoughts. It's going to be a big game tomorrow as well, because it's a big rivalry. It's Delhi versus Mumbai. And both these squads are touted to be the contenders for the finals in this tournament. Even last season they said it's going to be a Delhi Mumbai final, and pretty much those are the little birds going around again saying that it's going to be a Delhi Mumbai most likely once again this season. But what are your thoughts? Because Delhi has not won a game at Chipok in the last 10 years. So what do you feel about the game coming up tomorrow?
Yeah, look, I think Delhi needs to win the toss and bat first because Mumbai do have good spinners, and we know Chopok is a place where batting second becomes very difficult, and especially with Delhi in Capitals not winning since 2010, you get the feeling that Rishabh Pant, whatever he calls, he wants to win the toss and bat first. They bat first. They should be confident to post a good total. They've got the likes of Shekhar Dhawan, who's in great form, batting really well. Prithvi Shaw, again, probably the best opening partnership in the IPL at the moment. And then, we just got, I think Rishabh Pant is just gaining supreme, confidence. He's so confident now, and he's given the leadership roles. He's really enjoying that new role in the Delhi Capitals team. The only concern could be the bowling, maybe Rabada a little bit, going the distance, and if you can, like we've seen, all good teams have great death bowlers. So if the likes of Rabada, can bowl really well and find his form like he did, that I think that would be really good. So yeah, Delhi Capitals, it's a big game for them. They need to win this game because they've kind of lost a little bit their way. So they'll be hoping, to win this. But the form that Mumbai Indians are in at the moment, winning from any situation, and the hitman is, you can see why he's a great captain, for Mumbai Indians. I just think that they're going to somehow find a way, even if it's a low scoring total or high scoring, they'll find a way of just winning the game. Like I said, they are the Manchester City. Like Manchester City are the Premier League, champions, and they're the team everyone's chasing. I think at the moment, everyone is chasing Mumbai Indians, and they're the team to beat. So if Delhi win the toss, they bat first, I think they got a chance. If that's not the case, I think Mumbai Indians will win this.
I agree. I think Mumbai is looking like the strongest side out of the two, and they're going to be a hard one to beat, considering that Delhi, I feel, is still facing some issues with their bowling lineup. We are seeing new bowlers come up in every game, some new guys playing in, Meriwala, Lalit Yadav, Avish Khan also not the most experienced. So bowling lineup looking a little bit weak when you see somebody like Mumbai with their strike bowlers in the form of Bumrah and Bolt, and with a dangerous lower order. So yeah, it's going to be a tough game for Delhi to win. It's going to be a test for Rishabh Pant. And my take is, if they end up bowling second, I think it's going to be hard for them to win this one. But thank you, Monty. Thank you, Arohi, for joining me in this post-match segment. It was a wonderful game today. And thanks to all the viewers. Thanks for tuning in for SportsTiger in this post-match show. Please join us again tomorrow. It's a big game, Delhi versus Mumbai, and we'll catch you before the game. Thanks so much for tuning in.
Thank you.